5 minutes, please.
Mr. Vleeming, on GC Strategies' now deleted website, they had a number of testimonials from senior government officials. In one case, the Government of Canada Chief Information Officer was quoted as saying, quote, GC Strategies understands our needs on a business and technical level, end quote. Who would have said that?
Thank you for the question. I've only been at the CBSA for 11 months, so I was not CIO at the time. Prior to me, Min Doan was CIO over the last, I think, 5 years.
Has anyone asked Mr. Doan if that was him?
I am not aware of that.
Who else could it have been? So we've established it wasn't you?
If the reference was specifically to who was the Chief Information Officer of the CBSA in the last 5 years, that would have been Min Doan.
Okay, but it wasn't you that said it?
That's correct.
Are you aware that it was said?
I am
or
not
alleged to have been said? You're not familiar?
All I've heard is the testimony of committees that referencing that certain testimonials on the GC Strategies website.
And did it cause you concern that endorsement had been offered by
It
the CIO?
surprised me, as you wouldn't typically see that, at least in my experience.
In another example, the Chief Data Officer for the public sector said, quote, GC Strategies, see the bigger picture and do not chase the quick sale. Who would have said that?
I'm not actually aware of who the Chief Data Officer was at the time, sorry.
Has anyone tried to find out who said it?
I'm not part of the internal investigation, which I would assume is also going to be looking at that.
In another case, a Government of Canada senior executive said, quote, GC Strategies listen and try to find solutions to my problems versus selling me a solution to a problem I've never had. Who would have said that?
Not aware of that either.
So we don't know. Could it have been Min Doan?
It's impossible for me to answer that, as there's no details on who actually said that and what their position was.
I'm a bit surprised that even a basic level of curiosity wouldn't have encouraged you to find out if your predecessor, on an unnamed basis, but only using the title that you now have, had actually said something like that, and then now occupying that position would not have sought remediation, that is, for it to be taken down. Did you ask for it to be taken down by GC Strategies?
No, as far as I'm aware, it's certainly not against any rules or laws to put that up there, and I'm not sure the government has the ability to
But you could ask if it's not true. But
again, if it's not against the law, I'm not aware of them violating any rules by putting that up there. It's just not something I would typically expect.
So it's compliant with the values and ethics codes for the public service?
As far as I'm aware, that would be compliant with the values and ethics code.
Well, I can tell you, if someone who previously held my position said something that I fundamentally disagreed with, and it was attributed in current time by job title only, I'd at least ask the person who had it posted, because I value my reputation and think it's important to the integrity of the institution that I represent that things that are demonstrably false don't continue to stand. I would hope that people who represent in senior positions the Government of Canada on behalf of all Canadians would exercise that same basic due diligence, because we have let's be clear, this is a two-person shady company operating out of a basement that get paid tens of millions of dollars, and they're close enough. They're now alleging that they're close enough with the Liberal government senior officials that they're able to provide testimonials. I'm surprised that you'd be unaware that there hasn't been an investigation of that. Have you, sir, or the current CBSA executives had any contact with Christian Firth or Darren Anthony?
I have not met either of those.
Have you had contact with them?
No, never.
No phone calls, emails, text messages?
Nothing at all.
Okay. Mr. Moore, same question.
No, I've had no contact. No, I've had no contact at all with GC Strategies or any of their employees.
Do you know when the last contact with the person that previously occupied your position, Mr. Vleeming, when Min Doan would have last contacted them?
I'm not aware of that specific date, no.
Mr. Moore, are you aware of their last contact with the agency?
No, but I know that we ceased paying them in June of 2023.
In June of 2023.
That's right.
Right. Nearly a year after concerns had been brought to the attention of CBSA
question,
through the work of Conservatives at standing committees of Parliament. I have more questions for Lee.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Just want to make sure you got it under the wire.